Hey guys, it's Christine, also known as Ivy Winter. Thank you for joining me for another Disney video. Today's video was a requested video. I got a comment some time ago that asked me, what are my tips for bringing a baby to Disney World? Now, I have a baby, but I have yet to bring him to Disney World. And, when I'm gonna bring him for his first trip has been hotly debated in this household. Probably sometime after his 1-year birthday, for sure. But obviously there's always that debate of, should you even bring a baby? Does it really matter if they can't, make memories themselves yet? And I'm speaking to a lot of friends actually who have kids. It widely was recommended that if you want to go with them at a young age, you should just go, because at that age it's less about their memories and it's more about yours. And obviously you can take photos and relive those memories with them when they're older. So the question came through, and it makes sense, and somebody would be asking me now that I have a kid, but like I said, I haven't personally gone with my son yet. So I was also curious as well what other people's tips were. I didn't feel like I could be the authority on taking a kid. I didn't feel like I could be the authority on taking an infant to Disney World since I haven't done it. So I went out to all of you guys to ask you to submit some of your tips and tricks for bringing under 2 years old to Disney World. That's how I'm looking at it, basically 24 months or less. Now, a note, at that age, they're free when they go to Disney World. You do not have to buy a ticket for them. So that's a big perk for taking them at that age. You're only gonna be worrying about yourself and the rest of your family and not having to pay for a ticket for them. I do also wanna say that one of the tips someone sent in was, don't bring your baby in a pandemic. And look, I don't have plans to bring Grant myself while everything is going on right now with COVID, but I also understand that everyone's, making their own decisions, especially now with a lot of people being vaccinated. I know that kids can't be vaccinated. Obviously, I'm well aware of that, but people are gonna make their own decisions in terms of going down there, as well as this is a video that I want to last beyond COVID. So these tips are not just for right now or in the next couple of months. I want this video to be something that someone can look back on in a year or two from now and still be helpful, and hopefully by then, hey, future person, a year or two from now, can you let us know if COVID's done or is at least just endemic and we're over the craziness? That would be great. Just let me know in the comments. But yeah, I get the sentiment there, and this video is not encouraging you to take your kid, but it's also not discouraging you. Everyone's gonna make their own decisions in terms of their travel right now. But I kind of just wanted to address it because somebody did write in and say that, and hey, I hear you. And like I said, I don't have a plan to bring Grant anytime soon, but I hope that these tips can live on long beyond COVID. Anyway, let's get right into it. I've literally have a Evernote notes of all of the things that you guys have sent to me. So I'm gonna just start reading them off. First one says, know going in that nap times will be messed up. Every park has relatively quiet space to put your little one in their stroller and walk them around with a little rechargeable fan to keep them cool. No need to go back to the hotel room every day. My wife and I's fondest parent and taught Disney memory is having our 1.5-year-old fall asleep an hour into Epcot, and the two of us grabbing a midday drink and walking around the World Showcase with him for an hour, enjoying the sights and hitting the odd ride as solo riders. So a good tip to, I guess, not be too upset if your day-to-day routine is changed. It probably is going to happen, and hey, if your kid is a stroller napper, all the more power to you. Grant is, but I also have a friend with a 2-month-old that will refuse to nap in a stroller, so your mileage may vary. You may have to still go back to your room, but if your kid can sleep in the stroller and you can keep them cool, I think that's a great idea. This is another one talking about those portable fans. Portable fan is a lifesaver. Get one that can clip on the stroller Also, a cool cloth can help too. Just make sure you make more AC pit stops than you might be used to. I've been using a portable fan here in New Jersey because we have been having a crazy hot summer, as most of the country has. So we have had some days where I have had to go out with Grant, even if it's only 15-20 minutes. So to keep him from overheating in that time frame, portable fans are a lifesaver. I almost said lightsaber. That was weird. Speaking of strollers, I got a couple of different tips here, and I guess it's all really about preference, right? So one person said, I asked my parents for their tips, and their first response was, don't do it. Hey, to each their own. But then they said, if you are going to take your infant, then definitely rent the strollers from the park instead of lugging a stroller with you. However, I have heard the opposite, where people have said that the strollers that Disney supplies are not very comfortable, and so they preferred having their own stroller. So by all means, if you are like, I need my own stroller, I have a whole setup going on there, take it. It's easier to check in the plane, but I definitely understand the sentiment of like, if you want that to be one less thing that you are dragging along with you, Disney does have rentable strollers. Another stroller tip is to add something to your stroller to make it stand out. Everyone has like the same 5 brands of strollers, so add a sign, a ribbon, a pin, something to make it stand out so you don't take the wrong stroller from stroller parking. Speaking of, you can't bring them in ride lines, and some areas like the Land Pavilion don't allow them at all, so make sure you park them so you don't have to backtrack. Really good advice. Yes, you can't bring strollers on lines. You know, I didn't even think about the Land not allowing them in, but now that I think about it, I think that makes sense. I'm sure that there's other areas like that as well. I think the best thing we do is ask a cast member, but yeah, don't walk all the way up into a certain place and then realize, now I gotta go all the way back to where stroller parking is. Your best bet is to just park the stroller when you can. But I love this tip of like, do something to make your stroller stand out. I mean, even if you have a rentable, they all look the same, right? But especially if you have your own and you're like, wow, everyone here has the same Chico stroller, up a baby, or whatever it is. I need to do something to make it stand out. That's really important, because the last thing you want to do is take someone else's stroller, or vice versa. Someone else's, use the baby centers. They are amazing. Changing tables, sinks, nursing areas, and a place to buy extra diapers, wipes, etc. They are expensive though, so we made sure to bring more than we thought we'd need for the whole trip. Also a great place to rest in the AC that's much quieter than other places. I was joking to Rob that the baby centers are probably the only aspect of Disney I've yet to use. However, I will be using them for my next solo trip because I am breastfeeding Grant, and so anyone who has done that or has a partner who has done that knows that you need to have a place to pump to keep up your supply when you're away from baby. So it'll be my first time checking out the baby centers, and I would love to report back on how those experiences were. From everything I'm hearing, Animal Kingdom is the nicest one because obviously it was the newest of the 4 parks, but we'll definitely have a video on that and my experience after I come home from the trip. But this is a great tip. Didn't even think about using them just for like an AC break. I can imagine it would be a lot quieter. I have an inkling that like Magic Kingdom's probably still a bit crazy, like their baby center compared to some of the other ones. From what I know, when I was looking into them, the Magic Kingdom one is right by Crystal Palace. The Hollywood Studios one is right by guest services when you first come in, guest relations. The Epcot one, I believe, is by the Odyssey building, and the Animal Kingdom one, I think is to, I don't know if it's to the right or left. Oh, I'm gonna get this wrong. Of Discovery Island. I'm gonna have to look it up right now because I don't want to get that wrong. Okay, getting it right this time. To the left of the Tree of Life before you cross the bridge to Africa, which makes sense. Probably like going down towards like Starbucks, that area. So yeah, excited to check out what they're like, and it makes sense. It's Disney. It's a family-friendly resort. They would have spaces like this. I'm sure the diapers are very expensive, so I do like that tip. Just bring what you think you're gonna need. Someone said plan afternoon breaks at the hotel for nap and cooling down made a huge difference. Use the child care centers in the parks when you need it. And the Carousel of Progress and other indoor shows are good for naps as well. Yeah, I can imagine that. I mean, you don't want to leave the park per se, might as well take in an attraction. Your kid's probably not going to be paying attention to Carousel of Progress or Hall of Presidents or any of that age anyway. So it does seem like that'd be a good nap downtime. I mean, it's a good nap time for me, so I imagine it'd be a good nap time for a baby. In terms of making memories, one bit of advice was to take a ton of photos. They may not remember it, but you will, and that photo album later is going to be great to go through when they're a little older. So like I said in the upfront, you know, a lot of people argue, well, they're not gonna remember this trip, so why am I doing it? But look, I didn't remember when I was 2 years old, but my dad took a video, we had a VHS tape of it, and I obsessively watched that video growing up. So just because I didn't remember it in the moment, didn't mean that I didn't appreciate the memories that were made and that I could relive later. So yeah, take your photos, you know, take out the phone, get some video, you know, you don't have to do, you know, vlogging per se, but have some mementos that when your child's a little bit older, you can look back on together. And this last one I like, it just says, my main one would be simply not to expect it to be perfect. The memories will be amazing, but there will be meltdowns. My long-awaited first walk down Main Street with my eldest ended up with him covering his ears in fear after the train whistle went off. I like this one because it's just realistic, right? Like, I have my own dream of Grant going down Main Street when he's a little older and looking at the castle and like having that moment, but the train might scare him, right? Or he might see a character in costume and freak out, or he might be more entertained by something else that seems really simple, or, you know, is not the thing that we were trying to do, you know. But I think that that's just an honest experience of Disney with kids. You know, your kid might like the ducks more than he cares about It's a Small World. And that's cool. That's a new way to experience your trip. So thank you to everyone who wrote in with those tips. Like I said, I am not the authority yet, but I did want to make this video for that request. So hopefully those tips helped. If you have any other tips about taking an under 2 years old, if you have any other tips for taking a 2-year-old or under to Disney World, whether it's your kid or your grandkid or your niece or nephew, or you went with some friends who had kids, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video and like it, if you like me, you should subscribe. Try to make videos as much as I can. You know, I'm obviously taking a lot more time these days with Grant, but when I can make videos that help you guys out, I still want to do it. Like I said, my trip is coming up really soon. My countdown isn't even, this is terrible. It says 0 days. I mean, that's not right. I think I have like 45 days left. I'm going down for the 50th anniversary. I'm really excited. I'm staying at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, courtesy of a really good cast member friend of mine who was able to get us a room, and that's so exciting. I've never stayed there before, and it's gonna be chaos and fun, and my first time down there in literally almost 2 years. So yes, I will be vlogging it, and it's gonna be a really good time. It's probably gonna be my last solo trip for a little while, but that's not a bad thing because now I have this great little guy to take with me. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great rest of the day. Bye.